thrill seeker who loves the challenge of building something new, climber of Mont Blanc, Kilimanjaro, deliverer of a company that has a presence in 16 countries, who's in the Ukraine and Poland, the Netherlands, Sweden, Canada, builder of business ideas and bringer of them to life. Oleks Mykolaienko, thank you very much indeed for joining.
Thank you, Paul, for such a nice intro. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, I'm sure I got it far too short and missed out so many interesting things. Would you please introduce yourself to both of my listeners?
Cool. Let me try to keep it short. So my name is Oleks. I'm initially from Ukraine, but for the last couple of years, I'm living in Europe, in Ireland, and now in Amsterdam. And I'm an entrepreneur with more than 10 years of entrepreneurship experience. As for now, I'm running two businesses. So one is called Tallium. It's basically a software development company with a couple of R&D offices in Ukraine and in Poland, as you say. And basically, I'm kind of a CEO of the company as well as a founding partner, trying to combine these both roles effectively. Another business is called iDealer. It's basically a startup that we created in Tallium, which is kind of a Uber-like solution, but for B2B, if we will tell it very short. That's a short story of myself. And I'm also kind of a member of a couple of communities like Forbes Tech Council and Growth Mentor, trying to share my experience with some other folks around the globe and help them to build a successful digital products. That's a short story about myself.
That's far too short, though. We've got like 35 minutes to fill. You need to speak more slowly, tell some stories. So you've got, 100 plus people in your business. You didn't have that, did you? So it was you plus what? Where did you start?
We started with just a couple of engineers, actually. So to be completely honest, I started as a manager of a small team of engineers for my current partner, Sergey, who is based in Canada. So he was running his own digital business, digital product. And once we met, I kind of suggested him that I can run his team in Ukraine to make his business more efficient. And that's how I started basically to manage people and started my managerial career. And it was way back in time, I think more than like 12 years ago. And it was pretty tough time for me just because it was my first that kind of experience to manage people, and nobody taught me how to do it properly. I kind of finished a university degree in management of corporations, but to be honest, it wasn't quite practical. It was more like very theoretical experience, and it worked well in the books and in a classroom, but never worked well in real life. So I kind of learned how to manage people myself. By learning and doing it myself, and I had a lot of my own problems, hiccups, and let's say negative case studies, which led to some good experience that I have now, and I'm using it in my current operations, I would say.
I find that the problem with a lot of management and business theory is that it just doesn't work in practice.
Yeah, for sure. I read a lot of books related to management and still doing it, I would say, but as per my experience, there were no book which you can use as this in your everyday working life. So I kind of tried to combine different advices from different books, and that's probably what makes it work, I think. And also not only books as well, of course, some learning educations and courses, etc.
There's a lot of wonderful material out there, and the stuff that I tend to rely on has been around for a very long. So one of the books that I give away most frequently is How to Win Friends and Influence People with Dale Carnegie. It's been in print since 1936. And if it's still in print, my argument is that it must still be pretty good.
Yeah.
But you look at things like Good to Great. Jim Collins, a great book, Good to Great. I think that was like 1984. So it's been in print for a pretty long time. Peter Drucker, Tom Peters, these guys are from the 80s, 70s, the 60s. So you find something that's at the airport and it's the latest thinking on whatever, and you read the book on the plane, wherever you're going, and you think, that could have been a blog post, or even worse, that could have been a tweet, right?
Oh, but at the same time, in my own opinion, I think that the management theory and the management practice, or let's say best practices, are changed a lot since that time, since Peter Drucker released his first book, probably. There are, of course, some principles that you can use even now, and they're like fundamental. I think, be honest with your people, probably set expectations in the right way and stuff like that, right? But at the same time, from my perspective, the management shifted from management to leadership, and especially with these new generations of people, of your coworkers, you need definitely to find a bit different way how you can effectively manage them, like, and to be like a leader, not a proper manager. at least from my perspective. Again,
it's a good point. I would ask, what would you say defines each? What's a manager and what's a leader? What's the difference?
That's a good question. And from my perspective, and at least how I always thought about it, the good leader is always showing a good example and managing your people by doing a lot of things himself. Not everything, of course, but this is definitely a person who can basically lead by example, right? So it doesn't mean that you need to do a lot of work yourself, right? And because otherwise you will end up with a fully booked calendar. But still, when it comes to some practical things and some tasks that you delegate, you still should be able to show like a good example yourself, right? That's my approach. When it comes to classical management, I think it's more like, at least once again from my perspective, it's more a thing for a hierarchy approach, right? When you basically have a strict hierarchy within your company, and you have like a very defined set of rules how everything should be done, like a set of reports, let's say, like this, and basically some guidelines how these sort of things should happen. And it's good that you have it, and it's all about processes as well, right? But it's not about people management from my perspective. And when it comes to people management, you still needs to be more flexible and be like a leader from my point. Not sure if I expressed myself well, but that's my idea.
It's fairly clear. What then would you say, when you've been through this journey yourself and you've now got 100 or so people in multiple different locations, which is another story all on its own. How do you deal with all the remote management, the remote organization of what needs to be done? But what would you then suggest is a viable piece of advice?
That's a tricky question, and I would say that at the moment, managing all the people remotely, it's quite a big challenge for me, right? Because I was always receiving a lot of energy from people when I was able to meet them in person and talk to them and have a brainstorming session, maybe play table tennis in the office, maybe have like a coffee, tea, whatever. So these live conversations always recharge me as a leader, as a manager, and I always found a lot of motivation in these conversations and in these people that I can basically talk to and sometimes ask some questions, sometimes just listen to them and see how the things are going on in their end, right? Now, for the last couple of years, I think after COVID hit us, we shifted completely to remote work, not completely, but mainly to remote work. And then I was, required to leave Ukraine and move to Ireland. And it's also kind of, removed the possibility for me to move to the office completely, even for after works and whatever. And my approach to people management changed a bit as well, right? And when it comes to advice that I can give you, right, it's definitely different advice for different, let's say, managers and different period of your managerial experience, right? So if you're like just a newly how to say it, but newly hired manager, right? And you don't have like people management experience at all, probably in this case my advice will be something that we already discussed, right? Like just set the clear expectations, what you expect from your people, and what is the time frame of the deliverables that you need to they need to deliver for you. And basically what is your performance standard, what is your estimation of when and how they should complete the task, right? And this is very helpful because it helps you to set the rules of the game. That's probably first point. And then again, lead by example, right? So you should follow the same work ethics you would like to your employees and your team members to follow as well. So if you kind of say that we are usually preparing for all the meetings, right? And you need to prepare an agenda for the meeting that you will have like with someone or within your team. It means that you should be also prepared for that meeting, right? You need to prepare meeting minutes afterwards. You need to prepare agenda from your side as well. And it's really bad if you want if you demand this from your team and not doing it yourself. That's probably my piece of advice.
It's like bad parenting, isn't it? Don't do what I do what I say.
Yeah, could be said like that as well.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I've had, as you would imagine, very many different definitions of leadership on this show. And I think over time I've come to just the most basic conclusions is that the job, I think, is to get other people to be successful. Ultimately, the job is to get other people to be successful. But then how do you do that? You do that, and the wonderful word I heard was magnanimity, which is getting pulling what you can out of other people, making people great by exposing their greatness. Pulling things out of that. And it moves on then to a concept called agape, which is one of the Greek words for love. It's not romantic love. It's not that sort of thing at all. It's the willful desire for other people to do well. And unless you see that that is your driving goal, you typically won't be a good manager. You have to look that your job is to make somebody else successful and make sure that they have the tool, training, the capability, the space, the security to do their job very well. And that's kind of the attitude approach.
There is a good book about that I just finished. It's called When They Win, You Win. I don't remember the author, unfortunately, but I think you can mention it in comments. But it's pretty good one. And it's basically explaining the same concept, right? So if you want to be a successful manager, you need to make sure that your employees or your team members are successful and they have like a clear career path. They have all what they need in order to achieve that path. And basically you as a manager need to support them on this road. That's how you make them successful and make you a successful manager or leader.
The book, When They Win, You Win, Being a Great Manager is Simpler Than You Think by a guy called Russ Laraway. There we go. Yeah, very nice. That's exactly the same concept. Exactly. It's
as I said, there are so many books about management, and I believe some of them are even contradictory one to each other. So one book will
the best ones
do
are
it this way, another one will say it completely different. But yeah, that's normal.
It's like you said, it's when you end up thinking about what it actually means, and then it's how do you apply it. So you've got what's the meaning of it. Once you've sorted out what the question is, what's the problem statement you're trying to resolve. So in you and your role, you probably spend a lot of time with founders and leaders in organizations trying to get them to understand what they're actually wanting to build. So you try and convert somebody's business idea into a deliverable piece of technology. So you probably spend a lot of your time saying, well, yeah, what do you actually want? Well, we want something that does this. Yeah, but that contradicts the thing you just told me 5 minutes ago. So you try and you're doing this discovery to get to the level of what actually is it we're trying to do. And I think that what is it we're trying to do, as we just defined, is get other people to be successful. Then the how you do it, those are the management tasks. And they are very simple, right? Yeah. As exactly as you said before, it's being clear about what you want, being clear about when it needs to be delivered, and helping people to get it done, right?
Right, but at the same time, I can probably comment on that and say that when it comes to our discovery phase and when we are trying to define what people are actually wanting to achieve with their digital idea, that's a big challenge, right? Because sometimes people do not know what they want to achieve, right? And for us, it's very important to be able to guide them, right? We created like many frameworks, how you basically can achieve this goal and make sure that the idea that you basically start developing is the one that customer has in his mind or her mind, whatever. And I think same thing is applicable to your team as well, right? Sometimes it's pretty hard for them to understand what do they want to achieve themselves, right? And that's basically when we also can rely on the book that I just mentioned, right? So you need to define this very, very high level goal for them. Like they called it like, I don't know, I forget the word about it, but
North Star or something like that.
Yeah, like North Star. That's a good example, right? And then basically once you define that, it will be easier for you and for them also to see like a smaller chunks of their direction and their path actually. But it's still a challenge from my perspective. And I had so many cases when someone came to my team with one intention, right, and the one idea and one role, and eventually, like over the years, his role transformed to something not completely different, but different, and he or her felt way more comfortable in this specific role. And that was also my task to help them to define.
See, I think that's it. That's where it gets really interesting, is that you don't know the answer, but your job is to help them discover the answer. So that goes to the coaching question, so that's an interesting question. What do you think? And you flip it right back at them. Now, it's not to say you don't actually have to come with an answer now. More often than not, people are looking for validation. They're looking for a partner in some sort of discovery. And you say there with your framework. So if I come to you with the idea that I want to build the Uber of butchers, right? You're going to say,
Good idea.
okay, right, sausages or steak? Where are we starting here? And you go through this framework. I'm sure as you said, you get many of them, and you're a partner with me on that journey, right?
Yeah. And once again, same is applicable to your employees or your team members. And also, I think when it comes to the way how you manage them, right, or how you communicate with them, I think it's very important not to be afraid to say that you do not know something, right, and you also don't know the answer, because I mean, being honest with them is also like a very important quality of you being a leader, right? And I mean, it's, at least from my perspective, right, it was a big, let's say, change in my approach when I started to say my people that I don't know the answer, right? And sometimes I even say, like, I hired you because you have more experience in this specific field comparing to me, right? So please tell me your opinion, right? And I will probably approve it or agree with it. But that was really, really a big shift from my perspective. And I feel how it helped me as a manager to work less at the same time and work more efficiently. It's also an important thing.
Was one of the differentiating factors of outstanding companies is that instead of having a vision and then hiring people to execute on that vision, is you hire the people and then you work out what it is you need to be doing. You use them and their knowledge and experience together as your leadership team to say, well, okay, this is the direction we need to be going in.
For sure. But I mean, I can also argue a bit on that, because you still need to have your own vision, like your own strategy, maybe not your own, but your company strategy, right? And then the people you're hiring, basically, they can add a lot of information and a lot of value to this strategy and direction, for sure. But still, I mean, you should probably, I mean, hire them. I mean, not in the beginning, of course, right? But at least when you are a little bit on a mature stage, you should hire them with this clear vision in your mind, right? Because hiring the right people who more or less can fit this vision, right, or can add on top of this vision is a good thing, and it will help you to reach out to this, like, strategic point in your company lifetime.
I think, as you said, it does really depend on where you are in the sort of maturity cycle of your organization. If you're still building, if you're still on a journey, on a building journey, then absolutely you have to have a clear direction, and you're trying to fit people into where you're going. I think it does. Once you've got a degree of inertia behind you, you end up then you're not trying to build something, deliver on your idea. You're trying to build an organization that will outlive you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you decide to go and sit on your desert island, having sold it to Apple, right? That's how you want to see an organization thrive without you at the helm. So you're trying to build a team around you that has those executive chops, those executive capabilities to lead themselves.
100% true. Can agree with it.
So I mentioned that you're a bit of a thrill seeker. Now, that was my words, not yours. I'm sure you can challenge me in that. But in the same way that I think that a good manager, a good leader, has to really burn for the success of other people. They have to burn for other people doing well. You in your role of taking very complex business ideas, simplifying them using your experience, your capabilities, down to delivering a concrete product, you have to burn for the challenge of delivering something new, building something new. You climbed Kilimanjaro. That's not easy. It sounds like something you can just say, oh, I'll just turn up on Tuesday and climb the world's fourth highest mountain or whatever it is. It takes some planning, some thought, some work, some grit, determination, all that good stuff.
It's a long journey. Sure.
A long journey. But talk to me then about the desire you must have. Because as we were talking there about trying to find the right people, how do you find people who have that desire? What is it to build something new, to cap the essence of?
That's also a good question and a tricky one. And I would say there is no simple answer to it, or maybe even no answer at all. And that's definitely a big challenge for me as a leader, to find the right people who can basically share this desire with us and share this responsibility as well. And how do we do it? That's a good question. We have like well-established recruitment process, which involves a lot of different assessments on different stages of this process. We're starting with a small one by recruitment team. Then basically we have like a mid-level management, project management team who is doing their own assessment and trying to check like hard skills, soft skills, whatever. We also do have like our own corporate values, right? It's it's basically not defined its tone, but we do have them, and that's what's kind of allows us to hire right people. And then the last stage of the interview is basically usually with me. I'm not like doing an interview for everyone in the company, but I'm trying to to talk to most of the people that we are hiring. And sometimes it's just like, even like on this level, right? So you feel that this is like your person, right? So because of the conversation you had, right? The openness, I don't know, like the emotions that you had during this conversation, and you just feel it, right? Sometimes it's because of the answers on some specific questions, right? And some case studies. So I'm a big fan of talking about some different case studies that we already have in our company, and asking the person, how would you approach to the specific case study? And then I see if the person is trying to act in the same way as we tried to do, or maybe had like some better approach, or maybe even worse approach. I don't know, but it usually helps me, to understand how people will act in different situations. And even considering all these processes, right, and all the steps, we still had, I won't say many bad hires, but a lot of bad hires when it just didn't work out, right? And it's definitely an experience, right, for me. I won't say that after a couple of bad hires we started to hire just right people. No, it's still happening, and we still can hire someone who was very good on talking, right, with you on an interview, and can promise you a lot, and can share like a lot of different experiences and stories and whatever. But in the end, the person is just not delivering what he was committed to, actually, and he's not a doer, which is a big problem. But we have like own probation period, right, when we are trying to pay as much attention to a person as possible, and also we're trying to set up very clear deliverables for this probation period, right, so that we both know what is expected from this new hire, and we also kind of discuss the way how the person will deliver the specific action points. And that basically allows us to understand if it's a right hire or not right hire within the first couple of months, and then make a decision if we should proceed with this person or should not proceed with this. But then you also ask about the desire, right, and how I find people who shares the desire, and it's also a challenge, I would say, right? Because I want to have people in my team who share the same level of involvement to every specific project as I do, right? Who love to dive deep to challenges. This is actually one of our values. It's stated on our website that Tallium is about diving deep, right? And that's what I value in people most, probably, right? And it's also really hard to kind of to check during the interviewing process, right? So you can only check it when you actually started to work with a person, right? So even if you ask some questions about case study, right, person can fake answers, but once you start work with this person and you start monitor his approach or her approach, that's the moment when you realize if it's the right hire or not, if the person shares same desire with you or not. But then it's also not about hiring people, right? It's also about your role as a manager, right? How you empower or energizes people, right? To have this desire, right? And that's what we are trying to achieve with a different level of communications with our people, right? So I'm trying to do like quite frequent all hands meetings where I'm trying to share like all my recent, not mine, but our as a company, recent updates, achievements, maybe fails sometimes, right? Just for everyone to be on the same page. I mean, companies, it's not that big, right? It's mid-sized, but still there are some people who are not aware of some other departments' work. That's my kind of goal, to share it and make sure everyone knows what's happening on some other department. And also, share some success stories with them via emails, via chat messengers, etc. Right? Because I mean, you also need to be responsible for their motivation, for their desire, and do it like quite frequently, right? It's not something that you can do like one time per year or only once, right? It's like continuous work and continuous investment of your time to the desire.
I think when you just mentioned a few things, not least of which is the hiring force and then motivation. I really believe that good hiring gets rid of about 80% of your people problem. Hire well. Mm-hmm. The people you hire are self-motivated. They are driven because you've hired self-motivated and driven. If you have some specific things that are vitally important to you, you mentioned going deep, attention to detail. If that's important for you. And it's quite hard to test for certain things in your recruitment process, but I would look at your case study and make sure that you get a 1-hour session with them where they go deep on something. They have to show their attention to detail. It's like if you're going to hire a window cleaner, you want them to wash some windows and show you how they know how to do it, right? If you're hiring a coder, you have them write code. If you're hiring a marketeer, this is what I want to do to penetrate this market. What would you suggest? Now, there isn't a right or a wrong answer, but there is an approach. There's a how you make decisions, right? What do you decide to focus on first? Well, I would do this first, and then this first. Okay. Point 2, what would you do in? How would you take that forward? Well, I would go into that piece there. Show me that and break that out. Let's spend the next 45 minutes and sketch out exactly what that looks like.
Makes sense. Yeah, that's what we're trying to achieve. But once again, even this complicated process is not allowing you to avoid all the mistakes with your hires, right? So it's not bulletproof, unfortunately. But you can make it better for sure.
Always. I mean, you've got the attention to detail bit there, and you've got the hiring of the right people there. And the hiring mistakes are something that everybody does all the time. But ideally, you get a good team on board, they settle down, and you have them for a long time. You have them there for a long time. They become the backbone of your organization. Is there, other than hiring, is there an event or a mistake or something that's taught you the most?
For sure, yeah, and I think it's like an opposite process of hiring. It's like firing people or let them go, I would say. And looking back at my experience and my career, I had a couple of cases when I didn't let someone go when it was a perfect time for it, actually, and it ended up not well for both of us, right? And based on that experience, now I'm trying kind of to accept the situation and just let them go if it's needed, or even fire people, right? Because sometimes, I mean, there are so many circumstances and so many conditions in your business that it's like just not the perfect time for you to fire someone as you feel or as you think, but it's still leading to more pain in the end, right? So if someone is not delivering, someone is leading to a problem, someone is not listening to you, someone is not saying truth to you, that's definitely a red flag that you need to count on and basically make a decision right away. And it will save time for both of you, for you and for a person who work with you. You will just let them go, and they will find a better opportunity for themselves, and you will find like a better replacement for your team. And it's also like allowing you to decrease the level of demotivation for other team members, right? Because when someone is feeling that there is like a person who's not working efficiently, right, and someone is not basically doing like very simple steps to deliver something, right, and the organization is still kind of keeping him or her in your team, that's very frustrating and demotivating for other people as well. And that's what I'm trying to avoid now.
There's some good stories of ironworks where they actively hired really, really hardworking people, and to the point where a lazy guy got chased out of the building by his colleagues with shovels saying, "Get out of here, you lazy son of a," right? Because he was dragging them down because they weren't a team, right? So they chased him out of the building with a shovel. They said, "Get out." I like that. Maybe not quite, throwing laptops at somebody. But you're right. It's so demotivating for the good people left behind. It's demotivating when their manager doesn't act. I don't think I've ever regretted getting rid of somebody sooner rather than later. And the step before that is to recognize that if you cannot find the right person for the job, you never compromise. Never compromise. I've done that before. I've fallen in love with someone and thinking, "Oh, this would be great. Well, not quite perfect, but I really would work over here." No, just no. Find the right person, fire them quickly if they're the wrong person, because they're going to bring down.
But still, here, I think there is a small comment from my end here that, I mean, there are so many cases when you are not able to find like a 100% fit person, right? So you still need to look for a compromise, right? But you just need to define what's critical for you at this specific role. What is not, what you're not ready to compromise with, right? And like what values you need to have in this specific person, what hard skills you need to have in this specific person, right? And you should not compromise on that. But then you still can have like, this compromise with some other skills. And then you have like this learning curve for a person when he or she just starts in your organization, right? And then you need to focus on this onboarding process and need to make sure that he or she gets everything he or she needs to get to the point where it will be 100% match.
Yeah,
that's how we deal with it.
That speaks to even before that piece, which is what is it you actually want? And if you've got a job description that has 3 pages of details, you throw it away and you find the three things that you're actually trying to hire for, and hire for that. Because if you're trying to hire for a five-legged sheep, right, as the French call it, a mouton à cinq pattes, a unicorn individual, good luck. Number one, good luck. Number two, you really reduced your hiring pool because how many of those people exist? And they're probably not that. You've closed off your hiring pool to a very rigid, small amount of people who might not match your values. They're lacking in talent. There's whatever it is. All these different things. You can close them down. Okay.
Totally makes sense.
So it's hiring. Hiring was a big problem. Hiring is a big challenge. We talked about that before as well. If you had 10,000 billboards, the big advertising boards you have at the side of the road when you drive along, 10,000 of them, all over the world, and you could write one thing on them, what would it be? What's your message?
Should we think about approaching managers or all people around the globe? Whatever I want.
Your call.
Yeah. Good. I will not address it to managers, probably. I will address to all the people, and it will be that simple as just protect your planet, right? So every small action today can lead to a greener and healthier tomorrow, and you as a person can have a big impact, right? So that will be my message. And nowadays, I think we are not, treating our planet well as a people, and we need to rethink how we deal with that.
Nice. What's the biggest thing you're working on just now? What's the most exciting thing you're working on right now?
We just released a quite big mobile application for one of the biggest Ukrainian e-commerce shop. It's basically a druggery retailer called ProStore. They have more than 400 offline stores across Ukraine, and they have more than 5,000 employees and more than 4 or 5 million customers. And that's a huge user base, and that's a huge kind of responsibility on our end to deliver high quality mobile application, and we just released it. I was also involved into the process slightly, to make sure that everything is going in the right direction. And the launch was really successful. We get first 10K downloads without a marketing campaign, and now we're working to improve the app. But for me, it's I'm really proud of the team and of this result, to be honest. That's only one part of what we're doing now. For me personally, I'm currently but involved in a lot of sales cycle processes. I just finalized the webinar with my partner from Netherlands about scaling up your health tech digital product. It was also kind of a challenge for me. And now we're thinking about having a couple of other webinars on this specific topic. So busy with that.
I'm sorry, I was watching you just as you were telling me about the launch of this mobile app.
Yeah.
And you're just really excited about this.
Yeah, I'm really proud of it, to be honest. I mean, that's a huge client. That's not the biggest one for sure. We had we work with the banks and then different financial institutions. But this one is, when I imagine that our product will be used by millions of people, that's what motivates me. I'm sure. And when we also get a positive feedback on that's even better.
That's great. We were talking before about, burning for the thrill of building something new. I wonder, do you feel the same even if it's a smaller project, do you still get a kick?
It's hard to get yourself motivated, and I'm trying to delegate this motivation to someone else. For whom it will be a bigger challenge, right? Because for me, I still kind of trying to pay my attention to some bigger projects that we deliver. Because time is limited, of course, and you cannot dive deep into every specific project and also feel responsibility, not to feel responsibility, but be as motivated as you should with every project, right? So that's why I try to delegate it to someone for whom it will be really big challenge, right? But still, for me, I still believe that we should deliver every specific project with a high quality, right? And I'm still motivated when I hear some good words from our customers or from customers of our customers, right? That's what keeps me motivated for sure, even with the smaller projects.
So what should I come to Tallium for?
That's a good question. So we can help you with shaping your idea into a complete digital product, and we can do it efficiently for web and for mobile platforms. We can help you with a product design concept as well. So as long as you need something digital, right, and you need to have this online presence, that's the time you should call us.
Then lastly, where can people find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn. I believe you can share my LinkedIn profile in comments or whatever. But that's where I spend a lot of my professional time and where I am very responsive. But also you can reach out to my email if you have any specific request. We'll be happy to answer. And also there is a possibility to book a quick session with me on the Growth Mentor platform if you need some consultation about your existing product or how to find like a product market fit or any other consultancy. I'm doing it for free, like pro bono. So you can book like a 30-minute session with me and I will be happy to help and chat with you.
Outstanding. Oleks Mykolaienko, thank you very much indeed for joining.
Cool. Thank you, Paul, for having me here and keep in touch.